Welcome back to Arise Entertainment 360. Now, storytelling is an art that not many are gifted with. Lucky for us, we got one of the best in the game.
Here to talk about the recent success of the new Netflix film, Roxanne is one of its producers, Mimi Valdez. Welcome to Arise 360.
Thank you so much for having me. I
Thank
appreciate
you
being
for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have to just come out and say it. We are in the presence of greatness.
Oh my God.
Royalty.
Royalty, we are not worthy. We are not worthy.
Stop. Oh my God. Y'all gonna make me run under this table and hide.
Don't be so humble.
Your resume speaks for itself. It shouts across the rooftops.
Thank you.
I mean, executive producer, Hidden Figures, 2016. Producer, Dope, 2015.
Yes.
Roxanne, 2017. Editor-in-chief, Vibe and Latina Magazine. What is your secret?
Right.
I'm out of breath, and I didn't even do all this.
Oh my gosh. It's so crazy because someone pointed out to me it's going to be 25 years that I've been in the game, which is so crazy to me. It's gone by so quick, but I'm just grateful. You know, I love telling stories. I love being a storyteller. I love to have that I now have this opportunity to, you know, bring these stories to the big screen, to the little screen, just another visual medium. You know, I never thought I was going to work in movies. I'm a girl from the projects. No,
What did you think you were going to do?
I was obsessed with magazines, so that's where I was, right? I was like, you know, I got the job at Vibe. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is where I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And then just as the years have gone on, been able to work in all these different mediums. But now with producing, I have found my ultimate home.
Wow. And not only producing, you're also Chief Creative Officer of Pharrell Williams' company. What is a day in the life for you like?
Busy.
I can imagine because you're doing movies, you're doing music, you're doing so many different projects.
Pharrell specifically, I'm overseeing film and television for I Am Mother, and you know he's like my little brother. You know it's so awesome working with him. He's such a creative force, and we have such a great working relationship, and we have the same vision. Like we want to, with all these projects that we've taken on, I've always said from the beginning of my career, I want to entertain, I want to educate, and I want to inspire. Those are the three things. If I could do those three things with all of my projects, that just makes me so happy. And I just feel, again, just grateful to have this opportunity.
Well, it's interesting because I noticed those three watchwords: educate, entertain, and inspire. I love it. It resonated with me. Do you feel that you accomplished that with your latest project, Roxanne?
Definitely. I mean, that was a project that, again, a story that needed to be told. She is one of our hip-hop icons, but beyond that, she's a survivor, right?
Yes.
This is a story that young girl from the projects, no money, you know, really hard family life, but yet broke the door open for women in hip-hop. She was the first female MC to have a solo record. Before her, there were, you know, there was Funky 4 Plus One More, Sequence. There were definitely women in the game before, but she was the first one to actually be on a record. Like, you know, we're hearing it on the radio, and she's the reason why all of us, all the female hip-hop fans at the time were like, oh, we have a place in this, right? Like we're not just like accessories, or we're not just here at the party. We actually have a voice, and in fact, we could even be better than the guy because she was so good. You know, these guys, UTFO, she did an answer record, a diss record to UTFO. These were guys that had a hit record. It was such a big song, and then here comes this 14-year-old just eating their food, and we just never heard anything like that before. And it was just such a big moment in New York for hip-hop, for women, and to have this opportunity to tell her story, I'm just grateful. I say that word all the time because I really am. I really am grateful.
Yeah. It's definitely important because if you don't know Roxanne Shante's story, you don't know hip-hop. Let's put it like that.
For sure. And we have to give our icons their flowers while they're still here, you know? And when we approached her, I think, you know, she always tells the story because she was just shocked, you know, like, we want to do your movie. She's like, what? Like, what's
happening? You got to back up because you told that story, and she said you approached her at a party.
At a party. She thought we were drunk. She thought Nina Yang Bon Jovi, who's Forrest Whitaker's producing partner, we were at the Dope premiere. I had already told Nina, we should do Roxanne Shante's movie, and we were like kind of talking about it, thinking about it, and then we go to the premiere. D-Nice is spinning on stage, and all of a sudden, Roxanne Shante walks across, and I'm like, Nina, that's a sign. Like, we got to go talk to her. So we're, like, waving at her. She's looking up, and I didn't know if she remembered me from Vibe, but I hadn't seen her maybe, like, 10, 15 years. And she, you know, she waves at us. So anyway, we go down, run down, talking. She thinks we're drunk, but she's like, okay, I'll meet with you. And then the next day we did, and there it is. That's where it all started.
Oh, what a story. Now, for those fake, pseudo hip-hop heads that don't know Roxanne Shante's story, what are you hoping that they'll take away from watching this documentary?
Well, I just hope that, you know, people of color in general, we go through so much for our success, and you know, she's someone that did create this hip-hop phenomenon, but we didn't have any idea what she was going through. Now to look back and be like, she was so young, you know, she had got pregnant by a guy that was 20 years older than her, she was robbed by many people, never made any money. I always used to hear stories of her being mean at the time. Now we know why she was mean. She was dealing with her mom and raising these kids, so I just hope all of us that watch it realize that regardless of what happens in your life, what you go through, you can survive. You can not only just come out at the other end of it just successful, but just like all those battle wounds, just use them to, you know, as fuel to just keep going. That's just really what I want people to learn.
And it also seems like this is the perfect time for this, and the, you know, Me Too movement and women empowerment. She was like a feminist before people even knew what a feminist was.
Of course.
How are you helping to move that story forward with this
Roxanne
film?
Shante is amazing that she, you know, she should have been bigger than what she was, but because of everything that happened to her, she wasn't. But, you know, she's not bitter, and she's done all this amazing work in her community. She does a lot of work out in Newark as well, group homes, you know, with foster kids, abused women. And she, you know, for her, she's just been out there promoting this message. You know, she's using it as a tool, and I'm grateful for that, that she just has something to show people, you know? It's awesome.
At least. Well, speaking of something to show people, we have to take a look at the story of Roxanne Shante with the trailer for Roxanne, Roxanne.
I'm Shante and the rhymes are dead. Just rap so fast till I get out of breath. Now this is something that we do have to do, and this is a team that I must introduce.
Do you know how old she is? She's 16.
You don't want your daughter to be happy or something. You want her to be miserable just like you.
You a nasty motherfucker.
My name is Shante, and yes, I'm top choice. And you
Out there in the world thinking you grown. What the hell happened to you, Shante?
Listen, I know the streets are calling, but you must find a way to rise above it.
You don't need him, Shawty. You got this without him. Let's do this.
now I have introduced to you me and Biz the Death Threat Crew.
Woo-wee, that looks so good.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you guys have to see this film on Netflix, and we want to definitely talk about the woman who's playing Roxanne Shante, whose name is also Shante Adams. We're going to talk about that after the break, so don't go anywhere. Come right back to Arise 360. Welcome back to Arise 360. We're still sitting with Mimi Valdez, who is telling us all about Roxanne on Netflix. And we just saw a clip before we went to break, and we had to talk about breakout star Shante Adams, who is phenomenal and actually looks like Roxanne Shante.
Yes. Okay, Shante Adams, let me tell you.
Please.
Okay, besides the fact that when I watched the audition tape, I'm like, wait, her name is Shante? Like, hold on a second, she spells it with a C. But here's the funny story. We casted her 8 days before we started shooting.
Wait, what?
Shut up.
8 days.
How is that even possible?
I was panicking because we were looking for, we wanted a girl that obviously looked like her, so that was really important, but it's such a dramatic, emotional roller coaster ride of a role, and we needed to make sure that it was somebody that could pull it off. We wanted an unknown. That was really important to me because I thought it was a great opportunity to discover a new actress and to give someone young and new an opportunity. Shante actually had recently, I think 5 weeks prior, had just graduated from college, Carnegie Mellon, theater major, so she's trained.
So she was nice and ready.
Yeah, like she was ready. She was ready to do it. But again, you know, I remember once we found her, once we cast her, I remember being like, oh my God, this girl's theater. She's never done, you know, film. What is this going to be like? And thank God for Mahershala Ali, who called me when they did their 1 day of rehearsal, like a day before we started shooting. And Mahershala called me, was like, Mimi, this girl,
Wow.
you're going to be good. She's special. I was like, oh my God.
Wow. And you can see it comes across on screen.
Oh, yeah, it's so natural.
She's awesome. And she won Breakout Performance at Sundance, which was a big deal when we had the filming competition for 2017. And she's she's awesome. She's from Detroit. She's not only amazingly talented, but she's a beautiful soul. And Roxanne Shante was obviously over the moon once we were like, we think we found her. We think we got our Shante.
I can only imagine the joy on set. Now, you are at the helm of effectively creating people's careers. You created Shantae's career, right now. Yes,
I'm not gonna take that credit.
I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you the credit.
All I will say is that I hope that, what I like to say is that I'm so committed to just giving people opportunities.
Yeah.
I love raw talent. I love new talent. Michael Larnell, it's his first feature film. His student's thesis film, Cronies, which is also on Netflix, Spike Lee executive produced. So even though he doesn't like to call Cronies his first film, it kind of is. But again, giving an opportunity to, a young black filmmaker to come in and do some great work. And he killed it. He really did. And again, that's what makes me really happy. It's always what's made me happy as a storyteller at Vibe, putting people on the cover that I thought were going to be big superstars. Like that's important to me.
But that's the reason I say this in terms of creating people's career. I mean, that might be the wrong phraseology, but to me that's the way it comes across, because you've been at the forefront of a lot of groundbreaking stories in hip-hop history, and you have told them so eloquently. What are your hopes for the future?
I just want to keep telling these stories. No one group should dominate that screen. Like we deserve to be up there. And the successes of Black Panther, Get Out, Hidden Figures, Girl Trip, these are not flukes. I need Hollywood to keep telling me it's a fluke. Like, these are good stories with universal appeal, and there just need to be more of us out there that are producing, costume design, production design, executives in Hollywood greenlighting these stories, people doing acquisitions. We just need more of us out there. There's not enough of us
behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera.
And that's why these stories don't get made. That's the only reason. There's not enough of us. So anytime I'm in a position that I can bring on people, I mean, just even, for example, there's like people that have been, people of color who've been in the industry for 20 years, but they haven't had the key department head positions because people haven't given them the opportunity. I'm just trying to change that in any way, small possible way that I can.
Well, you're doing that as being a member of the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts and Hip-Hop Culture Council.
So excited about, shout out to Q-Tip and Simone over there at the, I just love that they created this Hip-Hop Culture Council. I'm honored that they asked me to be a part of it. I was so excited. I didn't even read through the email when Q-Tip said this to me. I was like, yes, I didn't read this through, but yes, whatever you need.
And what are y'all doing?
Well, that's what, there's a bunch of stuff that we're trying to figure out. There's a bunch of activities and things but ultimately, we just want to make sure we honor our icons and recognize the important, beautiful contributions that this music has given, not only to America, but to the entire world. Like, hip-hop is the dominant culture, it's youth culture, and it has evolved and changed and, turned into all these different things. And I think we all just want to make sure, like, great that it's evolved and it's turned into this big, beautiful thing that almost feels in some ways is not ours anymore. We just want to make sure it's ours. We still want to claim it and obviously making sure that we celebrate the people that came before and are the reason why we even have this beautiful culture.
Wow.
So well said.
This is why I said she's the most eloquent storyteller ever. You're phenomenal, Mimi. I cannot wait to see what you come up with next.
Thank you guys for having me here, and again, just appreciate the opportunity to share my story, and hopefully people enjoy Roxanne.
Oh, trust. They're going to be enjoying it for years to come.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you. And real quick, because we only have a few seconds left, I mean, you just have given us so many nuggets, but what piece of advice would you give to someone coming up in the game of both hip-hop and both in the industry?
Two things. Feed your curiosity. Know your lane and what it is you are trying to, whether it's filmmaking, whatever it is, but know everything. Know the world. Pay attention. Be curious. Like, learn whatever you can. Go to museums. Go to a country music show, even though that's not your thing, just to experience it. And embrace the risky. That's one thing I think is really important, because if you are trying to make an impact and do something different, you're going to have to be uncomfortable with whatever it is that you're trying to do, because that's the only way to innovate.
Nothing grows in a comfort zone.
No, and you can't do something new if it's been done before, right? So, and that's scary, but that's good.
I love that. What a way to end the show. Innovation. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, Mimi.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you tomorrow.
Go see Roxanne on Netflix. Peace.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. You were great. And I noticed.